and you are short with social media recruitment campaign ideas. I hear you and I get you, and I've got something for you. When you need the call to act and kick on that recruitment campaign, the most important person, might I add, with the hiring need has no time for you. I'll say this out loud because you probably have thought about this once or twice. If you have no time for me to help make this recruitment campaign more successful for you, then watch me copy paste everything and have no time for helping that success. Okay, that's not really nice, is it? But I understand because, we've all been there. Everyone who's worked in talent acquisition has been there. You have a recruitment need, it's going to be tough. The hiring manager knows it's going to be tough, yet they don't have any time for you to help them to succeed. But let's think positively and talk about social media recruitment campaign ideas that can actually help you empower recruitment campaigns without their help that much, with an almost copy-paste marketing plan. And in this episode of Building the Modern Employer Brand podcast, I'm going to share you a rock-solid plan for managing your recruitment campaign stress. And at the end of this episode, I'll give you a link to a free content marketing plan for 12 weeks to get you started. Now, if you're new to this podcast, hello and welcome, my new friend. My name is Susanna Rantanen, and I'm a seasoned with herbs and spices like knowledge, superfood knowledge, and the sassiness spice to help you elevate your employer branding and recruitment marketing career and game to levels way above the sea. This podcast is exactly what you want to integrate into your weekly routine if you're working in employer branding or talent acquisition, or if persuading talents with communication and marketing is an interest of you in whatever you do. And I know I also have many business leaders listening to this podcast and learning tips and tricks on how to empower social media better for talent attraction and talent retention. So whoever you are, I'm sure that you're going to get something out of this podcast. And if you don't, well, let me know and see if I can, let's see if I can help you to get something out of this podcast. Now, if you don't know me, that's okay. As one of the top employer branding experts and influencer in the world, however, I'm here to guide you in this world of modern employer branding. And I have lots of practical and logical, but also science-based tips how to convince and convert your talents. And I talk about strategies and tactics and data and analytics and content creation, copywriting secrets, and also about my professional pride and joy, the magnetic employer branding method for employer branding, which, by the way, is going to come out as a book later this year. Now, stick with me and you learn how to win sustainable attention in a world where, believe me or not, talent attention is no longer a default. And because attention has become a currency, it can be your currency that you can exchange for anything in this world. Let's get started with this week's episode, my friend. I'm going to start with social media recruitment campaign 101 for success. Because most cost-effective recruitment campaigns these days take place either on social media or email. And in this episode, we'll focus on social media and start by going through what makes a recruitment campaign on social media successful. And when we talk about recruitment campaign on social media, we are talking about marketing campaign, okay? So your recruitment campaign on social media has different goals than the actual selection process where you go through your candidates, interview them, test them, whatever you do to decide and define whether you're going to offer them a job. So a successful recruitment marketing campaign has 3 key goals. The first goal is to make your organic and paid target audiences aware that now is the time to apply. If one is looking for a job in your organization specifically or a new opportunity that matching the vacancy that you're hiring for. So that's the goal number 1. The second goal is to get your relevant target audiences to consider your opportunity. Consider the opportunity means that while you are actually looking for your applicants, so the application period, that they take time to think about this role, think about this opportunity. They do the research that they need to get the answers to their open questions about the role, about the organization, and then they make the decision whether they're going to apply or not. And the third key goal is that they actually reserve enough time to update their CVs and resumes, tailor their offer to this opportunity and for your organization to make it easier for you to recognize if they are the right talent or not. Now, it takes a fair bit of a time for a job seeker to meet your expectations as a candidate through that application content, the letter, the CV, and so on. Now, I want you to think about what might help you as the recruiter at the beginning of the process so that you will get what we call better quality applications. Now, ideally for you, your candidate prospects are going to react quickly and apply swiftly so as not to stress you out because the campaign goes on and you're missing out on your applicants. So you want them to apply as fast as possible so that you can feel confident that you're going to have the right kind of people to proceed within the process, right? You also want them to create their applications in ways that when you take a quick look, which you do, when you screen those applications out, it hits all those high notes that you're looking for in the candidate of interest. And you also want them to describe enough about their personalities and their preferences and their visions for their career and so on, so that you feel confident that they will be a great culture additions to your organization. That's what you want from the application, right? Now, you wish all this to happen so that you won't accidentally decline or ignore or foresee a candidate who actually would have been a real gem. And you also want to have good news to share with the hiring manager as early on in the campaign as possible, right? Now, if these are your wishes, how can you help those job seekers to deliver them? Here's how. Make sure that the recruitment campaign is longer than 7 days, preferably 2 to 3 weeks, because this will then give you enough time to grow awareness, create posts that help your target audience consider the opportunity, and give them enough time to actually prepare their great application by the deadline. What did you say? Is that impossible that I hear? Impossible. Because you always know about the hiring need only at the last minute. Story of my life when I was still doing recruiting, which gives us literally zero time to plan anything in advance, which is a shame because we're losing so much potential. The hiring managers are losing so much potential when we don't have enough time to plan for their campaigns. Impossible also because hiring managers are obsessed with getting fast results, meaning that they want this application process to be only a very short period so that they can proceed with the selection process and have the new person on board as soon as possible. And that's why the deadlines for applications these days seem to always be shorter than 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So, but I hear you, my friend. I do hear you. So I have something else to propose to you. And this is a social media recruitment campaign that actually starts earlier than the recruitment marketing campaign, the recruitment process. That is why I designed a social media recruitment marketing strategy so that we would not have to struggle with those very short campaign times and only hearing about the recruitment need pretty much the day that we should already be posting the application or the job post. When you don't have that time to prepare in advance, you literally have your hands tied and you don't have much any other way to move forward than to copy paste the previous job post for the same role and roll with it, right? But this social media recruitment marketing strategy actually doesn't leave anything to the last minute for you. And you can also repeat it and recycle it. Now, how does that sound for you? This process is where recruiting meets employer branding so that you have something else to post about, to talk about before you can actually talk about the open vacancy. I hear you saying, how's this different from what we already do in employer branding? Now, I hope it is, because if you're doing proper employer branding, you're not talking about your vacancies. Okay, let me explain. Although, maybe you already do this. I don't know. If you do, then congratulations. You can actually listen to this episode with a big smile on your face and thinking like, hey, we've got this. We're already doing this. We know how to do this and we're getting great results with it as well. But of course, there's probably those of you who are not doing anything like that. And I want you to hear and make sure that you have an opportunity to do something different to what you already do and help you improve your recruitment success. Okay. Now I'm talking about a period of time. Ideally, this is about 12 weeks, 9 to 12 weeks, can be shorter, but has to be longer than 4 weeks. This is a period of time that you're actually campaigning to the audiences who match your upcoming recruitment target audience. But the content in this campaign is not the job post, because obviously you don't have that yet. You don't know when you can get it, and you really can't ask people to apply for jobs yet because the vacancy isn't open yet, right? The purpose of this campaign, which I actually call the pre-marketing phase, is to warm up a relevant audience on social media so that they pay attention to your recruitment posts when your recruitment campaign starts. Not only like physically pay attention, but also we want to try to ignite the social media algorithms to support this by showing those posts to this target audience the best we can. Who should be paying attention to this idea? Let me tell you. Raise your hand if this is you. All those of you who create recruitment campaign content. Is it you? Wonderful. All those of you who work in talent acquisition and are interested in using social media better to help you succeed. Raise your hands. There you go. Hello there. Also, those who already work in employer branding and support recruiters with suitable content creation. There you go. Welcome. And also hiring managers who should now be feeling a little bit of itch in your conscience for not often having the time that your recruiters or content creators ask from you so that they can help you to succeed in your recruitment process. Now, this is really a fabulously, amazingly, truly great content marketing system for all of you to know and adopt. And what is truly amazing about this social media recruitment campaign idea is that when you've got this working, you don't actually need to extend your application period beyond 7 days or whatever, because you don't need to, because you are posting a job whenever you get that information, but you've actually been campaigning and building your target audience for a while before that. Okay, still with me? I want you to stay with me because I have that bonus treat for you that I'm going to give you at the end of this episode. Let's go through the big picture, all right? Let's do some reverse engineering. Let's say that your organization will be hiring for a specific role at the end of the spring, but you don't know yet when the hiring kicks on, and it's impossible to get that information from the hiring manager. So what you can do now is start planning for the campaign and start already posting about the team, the work they do, the hiring manager, the team cultures, the individuals, their knowledge, and so on, just as examples. Way before posting the job ad and starting to promote that. And each set of these content pieces are planned to target that specific target audience that you want to pay attention to your recruitment campaign when you can actually start that. And each post, you'll tailor it like you wrote a Dear John letter for the John that you aim to hire later. You pinpoint subtopics and areas of interest to match the likely interests of those people behind your upcoming recruitment profile. And you post content like this on social media that you will actually use later when you start your campaign. It's likely to be a LinkedIn, and you do this for about 9 to 12 weeks before you actually publish the job post. And when the recruitment process starts, you then switch to talking about the role and the recruitment process so that you go through those 3 key goals, so that you grow awareness that now we're hiring, so that you help and give time for them and remind them to consider that opportunity, and so as to you then convince them to apply for it. That's what happens during the actual recruitment campaign. And then you have this pre-marketing phase, which is 9 to 12 weeks before you actually start hiring. Now, during these preceding weeks, you are planting the seeds and paving the way for the right audience to be reminded about your organization multiple times in their feeds via topics that interest them specifically. So you have to target those posts for this particular recruitment audience, not everyone. So that's how this is different from employer branding, because you want to be specific about the target audience that you need for the recruitment process later. Now, if possible, it's a really good thing to collaborate with the team that is hiring later and have them also reshare those posts so that their connections also take notice. This is kind of like employer branding, because we're not talking about the job. We're not talking about the benefits of joining or the compensation or anything like that. We're not talking about the recruitment process. We are talking about your organization, but we are going much more specific than we would in general employer branding. We are going specific about the team, the work, the culture, the people, the hiring manager, but we're not talking about hiring yet. Now, think of employer branding a team instead of employer branding the whole organization. I think that's the closest to understanding the difference. Okay? Now, what you want to do is to document and save each piece of content that you created and posted for this pre-marketing phase, from images to captions to hashtags to links, because you want to have those for you so that you can recycle these content when you hire for the same team or for the team when the campaign starts, and when you hire for the same team or of the similar role later on, because it'll be very handy, trust me. Now, for those employers with medium to high volume recruitment, this is the only way to save time and empower employer branding with specific recruitment needs in advance in a very effective manner. And what's really great about this strategy is that you can add to this team employer brand content folders throughout the year so that you have even posts that are completely ready to publish, from images to quotes to stories and moments, just to save them up so you can actually use them when you need them later on. So you can actually build these team-specific employer brand content folders throughout the year so you have them available for you when you want to start or need to start the pre-marketing phase for that team. Because we all know getting those at the last minute will be impossible. So you want to prep. Now, let's talk about in what types of situations this works the best. Now, this social media recruitment campaign idea works best for organizations with medium to high volume talent acquisition who often struggle to get quality applicants. Could be for one role or some roles, or could be for all the roles, but it's a continuous struggle and you feel like you've tried everything and you want to resort to not having to extend campaigns or invest in external recruitment consultants or headhunters at the last minute in those cases that it can actually be solved or helped with more content marketing. And just to pinpoint, this strategy does not work for recruitment agencies because for this strategy to work, it must be about one organization and you must be able to post and engage on the organization's social media accounts and drive traffic to their websites, have access to data and so on. Okay, the structure of this social media recruitment campaign idea is actually quite simple. So the pre-marketing phase is about 9 to 12 weeks. It can be even 16, should not be shorter than 6 weeks, but I would say ideally about 9 to 12 weeks before the actual recruitment campaign kicks on. And the longer this phase is, the shorter the application period can be, but never shorter than 7 days. And if for any reason your recruitment campaign gets prolonged, so it doesn't actually start when you assume that it would start, you simply either pause the pre-marketing phase or slow it down and pick up the pace again, ideally about 3 to 4 weeks before the campaign is planned to restart. And then just recycle the same content. So for 9 to 12 weeks, approximately, you create and publish social media content to grow awareness of the hiring team, their work, their team's culture and leadership and collaboration and knowledge and experience, all that, to win attention of the relevant target audience and ignite the social media algorithm to work for you. And you make sure to document every piece of the content, the links, the images, the videos, the quotes, the hashtags, with a note on when it was published so that you can recycle and repurpose them easily in the future. And the better your content matches the interests and preferences and needs of your target audience for that upcoming recruitment, the better it will work, warming up your recruitment audience for your campaign. And you also want to measure the impact of your pre-marketing phase so that you know where you stand with this audience when the recruitment campaign starts. Now, we teach this method here at employer branding agency Emine, but not just the pre-marketing phase, but actually from pre-marketing to actual recruitment campaign to candidate communication phase and post-marketing at the 12-week Instant Employer Brand Accelerator program. That is about 1/3 of learning and 2/3 of creating and developing this content with our support and templates. But as promised, I have this treat for you, this bonus treat for you, since you made it all the way here. I created a free content marketing plan for 12 weeks. It's 12 weeks worth of content ideas that you can use for your pre-marketing phase, creating your own content from those. Now, I want you to grab this free 3-month content ideas plan and start filling in your own content based on the ideas. And when you opt in to download it, I will also send you some additional tips and advice for an easy content ideation process. And how you can get it is to go to modernemployerbrand.com/podcast172 to find the link, or on my Instagram account, which is at Rantanen Susanna, just comment comment IEBA12 and I'll send you the link on DM you the link. Okay? That's it for this week. subscribe, leave a review, share this episode with a friend or colleague, and most importantly, come back next week for a new episode on building the Mona and Bird Brand podcast. It's been a pleasure. Moi moi.